Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Omavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So, last class we studied about lifestyles, two different lifestyles. One is the Pravritti Marga and Nivritti Marga. This becomes this is basic understanding of Vedanta. It's not uncommon in our culture to talk about a life where things are given up. They will say life of renunciation, very commonly understood. Say quote unquote normal life, which we can probably say Pravritti Marga, and a life where they say normally a life where one gives up those normal pursuits, but life where one pursues this Vedanta. So this word normal is a very, very interesting word. So to say if somebody is normal, who decides that somebody is normal? The question is asked. Then a few people decide whether this person is normal, whether he is behaving like the average person, like the average human being. And so that's the basis of normalcy, it appears. But in any case, this Pravritti Marga is there. Pravritti means a life of pursuit of Dharmartha Kama. So now that we have defined Dharmartha Kama, we can now define the word normal itself based on that. And a life led in pursuit of moksha can be called as Nivritti Marga. Nivritti means retreat. Why it is retreat? Because it is not a pursuit of Arthan Kama, a direct pursuit of Arthan Kama. So that is a way to look at it. So we saw that Pravritti and Nivritti. And within Nivritti, as one begins to appreciate this Parama Purushartha, moksha, then the lifestyle changes for that person. And so even though there is pravritti in that person's life, now whatever that person does is directed towards the fourth Purushartha called moksha. So we talk about that kind of life. Bhagavad Gita will talk about it a lot. Because Arjuna has now come and he is now interested in moksha. And so now his lifestyle will change. And so we also learn a lot when Krishna talks about Karma Yoga. So that becomes a life of karma yoga. But if moksha is not there in the picture, then you have the pravritti marga. So that's a finer distinction within pravritti, where without being directly committed to moksha, all our activities, all our so-called regular activities are directed towards the final Purushartha, Parama Purushartha, Moksha. So we saw that. And along the way, we saw the definition of who a Nastika is. One who believes in the Pramanyatvam, one who believes that the Veda is a Pramana for everything it says, including moksha, including Ishvara, including Atma. That person is an Astika. We saw that. So now today I was hoping we will do a couple of things. We talked about Pramaanam, means of knowledge. So we have to allow this means of knowledge to work. Any means of knowledge. So if I have to use my eyes to see something, then I have to use my eyes. Sometimes it's very obvious. Sometimes it's very obvious. Somebody says this is a green pen. I look at it and immediately say, yes, that's a green pen. Over, the knowledge has happened. But sometimes if somebody says, I will show you, today Saturn is there. Tonight, you can see Saturn in the sky. If they say, I am a person who has not seen any planets in the sky, who didn't even know that you could see planets like that. So moon is the only object. Because it's big, I can recognize it. Sun is the only object that also can be recognized. But other than that, everything is a star for me. I know nothing about how to see planets. And so then somebody takes me. They will either show binoculars or somebody has to teach me. Somebody has to direct my eyesight towards that object. And that's a technique. And finally, if I'm patient, I will be able to see Saturn in the sky. Or Raj Vedam periodically posts all these pictures on Facebook. So that's how we get to know some of these things. So then time has to be spent. We should allow the means of knowledge to work. So same thing here also. When we are studying Vedanta, if I am the solution, I have at this moment no reason to deny. No reason to deny that fact. I can't refute that fact. I can be surprised by this Mahavakya that Vedanta is telling us. But I don't have enough arguments to refute it. So I accept it for the time being and go along with the Vedas and let the Vedas do the job. And the job is being done by words. Shabda Pramana we call it. I suppose these days people use videos and slides to unfold any particular topic. And I suppose there are people who will talk about Vedanta also by showing slides and things like that. I have not done it. But I imagine how they used to do it those days. Such an old topic, very old topic. And it has always come through Guru Shishya Parampara. And my Guruji has never used slides. But somehow those words, always been through words. Fancy charts I've not seen in Vedanta, Panchakosha charts, all those schematics and all. I've not seen all that. Very interesting. So everything is just words. So amazing it is. Words are spoken and the subject matter is understood and it is being taught again by somebody to somebody else. So by words, what we mean is not simply words in a particular language, English or Sanskritam. These words create knowledge when used properly. They have pramajanyatvam. The ability to create knowledge is there for words. So we'll talk a little bit about that today. So two kinds of knowledge first. One is if I ask you what is this, immediately you will say it looks like a ball. It's a ball. Okay, I will press it a little bit and I will show it to you. So now you all know this is an exercise ball. These days, some of us have to use this ball periodically. So our wrist doesn't get jammed working on the computer. Our fingers, finger joints don't get jammed. So it's an exercise ball. It's direct perception. Let's assume that there is no defect in these video and audio systems, and you see exactly what I'm showing you. So you can believe this is a ball, this is an exercise ball. So direct knowledge. So you can say Jaikumar has a red exercise ball in his room. Over, fact is understood, direct knowledge. Perception, inference are all direct knowledge. We use perception and inference. Anything we get out of that is called direct knowledge. And direct knowledge is very important in certain situations. Sometimes inferences are acceptable. When you are driving your vehicle, whether it's a two-wheeler or a car, you're standing in front of, there's a red light you saw, you stopped. And now the light has changed to green. You saw the green light also, pratyaksham. And now you have decided to go. You have decided to go on what basis? See, now I have to make some conclusions. Inference I have to make. I have to make an important conclusion that the other set of lights on the road that is perpendicular, that other set of lights is working. The other people going on that road have seen that light. Second inference you have to make. And that light should be red when it is green for me. So many things you have to make a conclusion. All these are inferences. There is no pratyaksham at all. None of us have seen that light, the other light, that is what it is showing, etc. And the fourth conclusion you have to make is the fellow who is looking at that light has seen it as it is, has seen that red and has stopped that also and will stop. That also conclusion you have to make. See, look at this. 4 important points which I have no idea of. This is why we start the journey with a prayer, I suppose. These 4 things. This is why accidents happen also. Because there is a guy who comes and he wants to beat the light. Or this is Friday night. So he is He's seeing a lot of lights there. You should see only red light, but the head is swimming, and he sees a few more lights. He sees green also, so he decides to go. So all this happened because inference. I am making an inference, very important inference, and that inference could be flawed. And so we said direct knowledge before. Pratyaksham and Anumanam is direct knowledge. But now you have to talk about indirect knowledge. Indirect knowledge means everything I have taken for granted, that this is how it should be. When my signal is red in color or my signal is green in color, the other signal must be non-green, must be either yellow or, red. Red is preferable, must be red. Big conclusion. So this we call indirect knowledge. Very important piece of knowledge in our life. If you carefully analyze our activities in a given hour or a given day, you will see how amazing it is, how much inference we use. So indirect knowledge. In some places, direct knowledge is given a lot of importance. So a court case is going on. Judge is there, jury is there, defendant is there, prosecutor is there. Witnesses are coming and going and saying some things. This is a murder case. And people are saying, the witnesses are saying many things about who shot, who died. All this they talk about. And one fellow says, I saw the gunshot. I heard the gunshot, he says. It was 7 in the evening and I heard the gunshot. There were 2 gunshots at that time. Very important witness for the whole proceedings. Then the defendant lawyer will ask the question, hey, did you hear a gunshot? Yes. How many gunshots did you hear? I heard 2. One after the other, or a little bit, there was a gap between the 2. Oh, one after the other. Okay, good. Where were you standing? I was standing on the road. Was there traffic on the road? Yes, there was traffic on the road. Lot of vehicles going? Yes, lot of vehicles going. Is it possible that somebody started their motorcycle and the motorcycle could have made that noise? Yeah, I suppose it's possible, but it is not. But it was a gunshot. Is it possible that it was a? We've seen all these TV shows, right? The way they argue and movies and all we've seen. No. Is it possible? Yeah, it is possible. And then he rests his case. He says, "See, I think this guy heard two sounds from a motorcycle. We need to find out what that motorcycle is. That becomes a problem. No, my person did not shoot. In fact, he did not even have a gun in his hand." So now the judge is asking for eyewitness. They're looking for eyewitness. Look at this very important phrase, eyewitness. So that shows that even this hearing, while it may be an extremely good means of knowledge, it can provide solid evidence, still not as solid as this eyewitness. Did you see the person shoot? If you have not seen it, then okay, we will take all the data you give, but we have to do more investigation. So direct knowledge has an important role to play in certain circumstances. And we use indirect knowledge in our life, in our daily life, we use it quite a bit. So just a repeat of what indirect knowledge can be. If somebody comes to me and says, so last week one friend visited me. He said, we went to Jaipur. We went to Rajasthan. Okay, Rajasthan. So I know there is a place called Rajasthan. I know there is a place called Jaipur. I've read a little bit about that. I've never been to Rajasthan. So everything he tells me, he talks of this Hawa Mahal. This person's son is just in 6th grade. He's explaining to me all about Hawa Mahal. It seems it has 5 floors. Each floor is given a name. And the topmost floor is called something else. I think Hawa Sagar or something like that. I forget now. And so he's telling me so vividly. He's showing me a picture also. Is this direct knowledge or indirect knowledge? Suppose I ask you. Then, have you seen this Hawa Mahal? If somebody asks me, I have to say, no, I have not seen Hawa Mahal. How can I see it? And these days, thanks to all these wonderful pictures and videos, we get glimpses of so many things we can't even imagine. So I have some idea of Hawa Mahal, Jaipur, Rajasthan, people, what kind of dresses they wear, everything I have some idea about. So that idea, I will put it in the category of indirect knowledge. Indirect knowledge, because I have not really seen it with my eyes. I have not heard the music with my ears. So we can say indirect knowledge. But with so many audio, video in front of us, so many instruments in front of us, my friend cannot be lying to me. I believe what he says, she says. And so this knowledge that I have is almost as good as direct knowledge. Indirect knowledge, even though almost as serves the purpose of direct knowledge. Okay, so I can get indirect knowledge of things that are away from me, that are not visible to me, that are somehow obstructed from my field of sense organs. I cannot see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it. So objects that are away, I can get indirect knowledge. Objects that are perceivable, I can get direct knowledge. Very straightforward. Now, here is a question. We said Vedas are Shabda Pramaanam. So Vedas talks about things like Swarga. Is Swarga direct knowledge or indirect knowledge? If somebody were to ask us, is Indraloka, is that direct knowledge or indirect knowledge? It is pretty obvious. I have not seen it. I have only heard it. I've seen so many stories and heard so many stories. This Kailasa and Vaikuntha is almost as real as existent for me. I am a Bhakta. I am a Vaidika. So, indirect knowledge, but I believe it. I will say they exist. That's how much I believe in the Vedas. I say, yeah, Kailasa exists. I don't know where it exists, but it exists. Indirect knowledge. But the question is, the words of the Vedanta, which is what we are more interested in now. The words of Vedanta, which tell us about ourselves, which tell me about who I am, which is telling me this Mahavakyam, that I have nothing to grieve, that I am not who I think I am. That statement, after all, it is just a few words, and with some explanation and background and more elaboration and things like that. Are those words, do they give me direct knowledge or do they give me indirect knowledge? This is the question. A $1,000,000 question, as they say. Very important question. So we will say right now, we won't analyze it too much, but we will say, am I known to me or not? If I ask you, are you known to you? That I that is being discussed, does that I exist or not? First question. Let's sort that out first. Do I exist? Then we are forced to say, I think, that yeah, something tells me I exist. I don't have to I don't have to pinch myself and check out if I exist or not. This existence seems to be there. Yes, I exist. But if I exist is there, then who is this I that exists? What is the nature of that I? Am I a mortal or am I immortal? So these questions are very typical questions once we get into Vedanta. When somebody asks me that question, that is where confusion starts. Then I will say, don't ask me all these questions. I am a mortal. I don't know any better. But the Shastram says I am not mortal. The body may be mortal, but I am not mortal. So then that I is not clearly understood. And the words that reveal that I, reveal the nature of that I, we say that is direct knowledge. So a guy from America visits India, and that guy loves this India so much for whatever reason, he can't explain why. But he says, wow, this is a great country. He goes around, he goes to temples, he goes to places, and he simply takes the bus and goes. Amazing guy. I may think 2 times before saying, what kind of bus, is it AC bus or is it this bus or that? Nothing. He just buys a ticket, just goes in. That's it. So he goes around, and a good friend of mine, and then he explains, he says, Jaikumar, I like this fruit very much. This is available only here in India. And he tells me, yellow in color, and he draws the shape and all. I said, oh, this is jackfruit. Yeah. Where did you eat it? I ate it, when I was going towards Tanjavur from Coimbatore. After this Panruti and all comes there, these fellows are selling it. I had some of that, very tasty. And ever since then, I've been having that fruit wherever I can get it. So he tells that. Then, so he remembers this yellow fruit. Okay. Then next year he does the same thing. He comes to visit India, and he visits me. And I offer him this yellow fruit. He said, wow, great. And he has that fruit, jackfruit. He has jackfruit. Next day, I get him another something. It's a big fruit, and it has all these thorns on it. And he's asking me, this fruit is weighing 10 kilos. Tell me, what is this? And I tell him, this is jackfruit. This is jackfruit, I tell him. What? This is jackfruit. The same fruit that you've had all these years. The same yellow fruit. This fruit now looks green in color, very big. But the fruit you had is yellow in color. That fruit, it comes from this big fruit. That little thing which has seeds, yellow, comes from this fruit. He says, really? This is jackfruit? Yes, this is jackfruit. Wow, all these years I've been eating, I didn't know this. Yes, this is jackfruit. So the words, this is jackfruit, those words are so important here, which created the knowledge. Because jackfruit is there very much in front of his eyes. He saw that big fruit lying. When I was not there, he came home and he saw it. He saw it, but he has no idea what this thing is. This is a very weird thing I saw. Whether it's a plant or an animal also, I don't know. It looks a little weird. It looks like a big head with some thorns on it. I don't know. So the fruit is very much there. Pratyaksham is there. But knowledge is not there. So that's the important point to note here. The fruit is very much in front of my eyes, his eyes. But he doesn't know anything about that fruit. Until he's told, this is jackfruit. And then he says, wow, he says. Wow means understood. Wow means everything understood. So words revealing direct knowledge. Words have the capacity to reveal direct knowledge. I want to give another example. An example we studied in school. I studied in school. It's the example where and many of you know this example. If you have studied Vedanta, even otherwise you may know it. So it's morning time, 6 o'clock, 6:30. People are all getting up at home. Father is getting up, son has got up, daughter has got up, wife is busy somewhere else. And newspaper man has come, delivered the newspaper. In America these days also they deliver newspaper. In a plastic bag, they come and throw like this. This guy comes and throws. Very interesting. So there also they still deliver newspapers. I don't know when it's going to stop, but we will see. Goes on. So delivers newspaper, and you can the father is reading newspaper. Typical, if he's a typical Tamil person, he will be reading the newspaper, and coffee will be delivered. Everything will come on his table. All he has to do is sit and read the newspaper. Now there is a knock on the door. Somebody is knocking. He keeps the newspaper down and he goes, finishes the job. Somebody has come, and maybe the milkman has come. He brought a packet of milk. Taken. All that is over. He comes back ready to resume his wonderful story of all the wonderful politics that are happening in India. And suddenly he says, where are my glasses? Where are my glasses? So he's looking around. He searches around like this on the table next to the chair. Glasses are not available. Where are my glasses? One advantage of having a family is you can scream and somebody will hear, and chances are good somebody will respond to that also. And if you have children, that's good. You can make them work. Go there and see. Look at my bedroom. Is it there or not? So we can make them run around. So his screaming has started, and he can't stand for a minute not reading this newspaper. Hey, where are my glasses? Now, the fun starts. And the search is beginning. Son has gone somewhere else. The daughter has gone to the bathroom. And the mother is saying, wife is saying, come on, you were the one who are reading the newspaper. You should know where your glasses are. We don't keep track of where your glasses are. And you were just reading 5 minutes ago. What happened? Look around. Just look around. On the table, it must be there. You always ask this question in the morning. Say something else in the morning. So all this wonderful conversation happens. And the son says, no, dad, it's not available here. Not available in the bedroom. Daughter says, not available in the bathroom. And he gets up and he's furious and he walks around and nothing happens. Meantime, these guys are figured out. Meantime, the boys, girls, the wife have figured out where the glasses are. But they decided they're going to have a little fun with this man. He's creating so much problem. Now we got him. So while this fun can last, we will make it last. So he says, Dad, what happened? It's not there here. It's not there. What about the television? You may have kept it on top of the TV. So he goes and looks on top. Not available. Then they have fun like this for a while. Did he keep it in the veranda? No, I looked around, not there. Then the son says, Dad, I found out. Nana, I can randi. I found out where it is. Really? You found out? Where is it? It's in the bathroom. Yeah, you kept it in a place. I'll show you. He says, come. So they go to the bathroom. It's a big, nice mirror there. And he says, see, look, there it is. Where? Look at the mirror. Look at the mirror. He looks at the mirror. And the father is absolutely speechless. Because the glasses are very much there on the head. The father has nothing to say. He's very sheepish. He has a sheepish look on his face. And all this anger and all went away, replaced by some weird looks on the face. Oh, sorry, or something like that, he might say. Wow, whatever. So I remember this story. Some Kuchu, I think was the name. Example of Kuchu story. So here is a very nice example of a story where words create knowledge. Even if he did not see the glasses, he could be sitting on the chair very much. And the son could have said, Dad, your glasses are with you. It's on your head. That's all the son could have said. You leave the mirror example aside. These words that said, hey, the glasses are with you. They're on your head. That is enough. Those words are enough. He doesn't have to see the glasses. Those words are enough to create the knowledge. Create the knowledge of the fact that I am the guy who is searching for glasses. I am the searcher of glasses. But it so happens that I am also the possessor of glasses. And words are all that are needed. Hey, you are the possessor of glasses. Stop searching first. Stop searching. Listen to me. Listen. Stop shouting at people. Start shouting at others for your problems. Just listen, relax. I will tell you. And so that's the approach. And the words at that point create the knowledge. So we give this example. It's an example we give to say that words can create direct knowledge. Perception is not used. Inference is not used. Just hearing of words is enough to create this knowledge. Okay, so So I employ, we saw the example the other day, I have to employ this means of knowledge. Like I have to employ my eyes, I have to operate Vedanta and let it prove for itself whatever it says. So if I say, no, Vedanta is untenable, Vedanta, this is unbelievable, this cannot be true, if I say, that is fine. Simple answer is, you have to operate it and see. You can't simply say it won't work, that is not acceptable. You have to try to make it work and you prove or disprove. You can do that. You have the right to do that. So whatever views I have about Vedanta, if I have to prove, then I have to operate this means of knowledge and see what happens. That should be the approach. Okay, so Vedanta, allowing Vedanta to work by letting the words do the magic, by letting the words help myself. We will see all that later. So that is the process. This whole so-called teaching and learning falls in this category of operating the means of knowledge called Vedanta. So I thought now we will spend a little bit of time and understand the Upanishads are Pramaanam, the Vedas are Pramaanam, Upanishads are there in the Vedas, they are all Pramaanam. Now how is the Bhagavad Gita Pramaanam? Bhagavad Gita, we said earlier, is Paurushayam or Apaurushayam. It is Paurushayam because it is authored by Vedavyasa, if you consider him as the author of the Mahabharata. Authored by a person, so it's Paurushayam. So it does not have the status of the Vedas, yet we say that the Bhagavad Gita teaches the same thing that is being taught in the Upanishads, and that's why we use the word Gita Shastram. We don't use the word Shastram just like that. The word is reserved for certain things like Bhagavad Gita, Gita Shastram, we say, because it says nothing that is not there in the Upanishads. Or I should put it differently. It does say a few things here and there which are not there in the Upanishads because the context is a war here. So some war-related language will be there. War-related activity will be there. That is not there in the Upanishads. But the essence, Brahma Vidya, whatever is taught in Upanishads is being taught here in the Bhagavad Gita. And it is a Pramana Grantha. Pramana Grantha, it is a Pramanam. Few reasons for that. Well, first reason, of course, is what it says. Our teachers tell us that whatever the Bhagavad Gita says is what is there in the Upanishads, what is there in the Vedas. And how do we say that? How do we come to that conclusion? Vedavyasa wrote the Mahabharata, wrote the Bhagavad Gita. Vyasa was the author of the Vedas, well, at least compiler of the Vedas. And Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe. We start the wonderful prayer which praises the mind of Vyasa, Vishala Buddhe. Only a person of such a vast mind can write the Mahabharata, can write this 18 Puranas. These Puranas are going and going on and on and on. And such a mind has written the Bhagavad Gita. So it has to be in keeping with the Vedas. It cannot be otherwise. And also where Vyasa presents Krishna as an avatara. Tattvabodha is there in the 4th chapter. And in the 4th chapter, Krishna seems to also say explicitly, Imam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham abhyayam. So he says, hey Krishna, Arjuna, this is not a new topic I am teaching. Imam vivasvate proktavan. I taught this to Vivaswan, that sun which you can see in the sky, Ishvara, sun God. Him also I taught. Like that he says. So based on all these data points I have, I accept Krishna as Ishvara. And whatever is said in the Bhagavad Gita must be what is said in the Upanishads also. So that much we can say about Bhagavad Gita and say Bhagavad Gita is a Pramaanam. It cannot but be a Pramaanam. That portion of the Mahabharata, which is just located, just shining, sometimes they will use the words, a shining pendant within the Mahabharata, is a Pramaanam. So I'm looking at the clock. We have about 5 minutes left. So I want to cover one more topic here, which is the topic of Bhagavaan. What is Bhagavaan? Very beautiful analysis is there. And so there are 6 qualities. 6 qualities are there. See, one thing about this word Bhagavaan is, it is very similar to many words we know, in sound at least. So Balavan, Gunavan, ye Balwan hai. If somebody says, what is the meaning of that? Balavan means one who has Bala is called Balavan. One who has good qualities, Guna, is called Gunavan. Viryavan, one who has courage, is called Viryavan. So you can use any word you want. You can say, he has a home. So Grihavan. You can create a new word called Grihavan. Perfectly, grammatically correct word, Grihavan. So Bhagavan also must mean the same thing. One who has Bhaga is called Bhagavan. Okay, that is the first observation we make. So the next question, the immediate question that follows is, what is Bhaga? If I knew what is Bhaga, then I can understand what Bhagavan is. So Bhagavan, Vati also is the same thing. Balavati, Gunavati, same thing, feminine gender. So this Vat suffix in Sanskrit brings in that meaning. One who possesses that particular attribute is called by that name. So the first quality then will be Jnanam, knowledge. The one who has knowledge in full measure, how much ever knowledge one can have, we don't know how much that can be. That knowledge in full measure must be there. These 6 qualities that we are going to talk about, it must be there in full measure. It must be there in absolute measure. Cannot be relative. Cannot be like, he knows more than me, she knows more than me. Not that kind of more. This has to be absolute. So, Jnanam. Then Vairagyam. Vairagyam means dispassion. There cannot be any longing for anything. There cannot be a sense of insecurity. Security in full measure. That is Vairagyam. Then we have Viryam. Viryam is a kind of Shakti. Viryam and Shakti in this case, same thing. What kind of Shakti? What kind of power? Power to create, sustain and dissolve. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, Shakti. power to create what we call this world. Once a world is created, it has to be somehow managed, somehow sustained. That Shakti is Sthiti Shakti and Laya Shakti. This Shakti Trayam is called Viryam. That Viryam has to be there in absolute measure. Jnanam, Vairagyam, Viryam, and then Yashas. Yashas means fame. Fame. Very interesting. Very interesting. All of us have fame, some amount of fame. At least at home we are famous. One good thing about having a home is we can be at least famous for a short while in some place. So Yashas is there. So we may have some name and fame. Whatever little it is there, and we say that fame also belongs to Ishvara. But Ishvara's fame has to be absolute. There cannot be a superlative in terms of fame. So Yashas is another attribute. Then Shri. Shri. Shri is the fifth attribute. Shri can mean many things. It can also mean knowledge in some contexts. But here we will say all resources, all kinds of wealth that is needed to survive, all material wealth, etc. Anything that you consider as a resource, as a support, as something that one needs, as the world needs, food, all that comes under this Shri. So Shri. And the last quality of Bhagavaan, or last quality which is a constituent of Bhaga, is Aishwaryam. Aishwaryam means overlordship. Overlordship. One who, see, overlordship, how do you imagine? You entered the room, you opened the door, and you saw an ant right there in front of you. You saw an ant. Now tell me, you're not scared of this ant. Now you have full power to do whatever you want to do to this ant. You can let it go. You can say, I'm going to pick it up and put it outside. You can do many number of things. You can do other things also. Overlordship, full authority, full power over something. So Bhaga means one who cannot be lorded over by anything else or anybody else. That is called Aishwaryam. So these are the 6 attributes of this Bhaga, meaning of the word Bhaga. There is a nice verse also which talks about it. Aishwaryasya samagrasya Viryasya yashasha shriyaha jnana vairagyayoschaiva shannam bhaga itirana. So like that, there is a little verse that helps us, that reminds us of these attributes. So we will stop with that. We studied today couple of things. Means of knowledge has to be allowed to work, has to be employed. Only then it can do its job. We saw that briefly. Direct knowledge, indirect knowledge. 2 types. And more importantly, the words of Vedanta, the words of the Veda must be direct knowledge. We cannot accept that being indirect knowledge. Like somebody telling me about Rajasthan, not that kind of knowledge. It has to be knowledge, crystal clear knowledge about who I am. Like the guy who was searching for his glasses, words revealed the knowledge. We saw that. And we saw about Bhagavad Gita, why we consider that as a Pramaanam, and just began understanding what Bhaga is. Because Bhagavaan is the subject of matter of all these scriptures, all this the Shastram, Bhagavad Gita itself starts with the word Bhagavaan. So we said, let's understand a little bit about Bhagavaan. So I'll pause with that. It's about 7:05 here. I think last time there was a question. I don't remember now. It's not coming to me. But if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. So Mahesh ji, did you raise your hand?
Yes. Namaste, everybody. The question I have is, so the examples you gave, 2 examples, Jaipur or even the traffic light, that also can be a knowledge pending verification, isn't it? Like in a traffic light, you've seen people not crossing the other side, so so you wait a little bit whether anybody crosses or not. So you verify that people are stopping indeed, and then you move. So where is the difference between a indirect knowledge and the knowledge pending verification?
Yeah. So that example was given to only demonstrate the importance of inference, importance of indirect knowledge. I have not seen the red light on the other side. There are so many things we said that have to align for me to go through this green light. So that example I gave only to show the importance, the importance of this inference that we make. Indirect knowledge is also very important knowledge. That was the purpose of that example. Okay, and we may be able to stretch it and do other things. But the example, so there also, so knowledge pending verification means yes, the proof that they have seen the red light, etc. Yeah, I suppose it gets verified when traffic keeps moving and everybody follows the rules, then it gets verified. And it may get verified even there is an accident, it can get verified, I suppose. So that verification part is there. But yeah, that is, I don't want to stretch the example too much. I wanted to use it only for the purpose of demonstrating that indirect knowledge is very important knowledge. Just because something is indirect, we don't put it down or anything like that. From day one, from the minute we wake up, we use indirect knowledge to make to move on with our lives.
Okay, so the Anumanam also is like a knowledge pending verification, right? So that was my question.
What was the first word you said?
Anumanam.
Anumanam. Acha. Anumanam is knowledge pending verification. Yeah.
That was my. What is the difference between these two? That was my question.
Anumanam also is knowledge. Now, see, that is not necessarily true. Anumanam itself is a means of knowledge. Yes, in this case, you have we say you have all the data to believe that they have seen the red light and to believe that you can cross the road. Yes. And so that's an important anumana. That itself is a means of knowledge. See,
okay, sure.
That itself is a means of knowledge. We don't need to verify it anymore. Inference, we don't say should be verified. Inference applies only when you have some data points, number one. And the important data point we are using here is, if I see green, the other people should be seeing red. That is the logic we use. We know that the systems are like that, where that's how it should work. And with the logic and the data, that is enough to make your inference, and that's Pakka inference, no problem there. So inference also is a means of knowledge, need not be verified. And the verification, etc. In this example, I suppose you can verify that the lights may not work properly. All this can be there. But in general, inference, anumanam itself is a means of knowledge. So if I see smoke, I know there is fire. And that's stock example. So there is no need to verify that there is fire.
True.
There's no need to verify, because that vyapti, that logic that you have this knowledge in you, that there cannot be smoke without fire. That's such an important piece. It's a law. It's a law. It's a law that cannot be violated. And so inference there works just fine. In fact, all our, every lab, medical lab that is taking our blood and saliva and all that and doing tests, everything is based on inference. And series of inferences goes on and on and on. And very important. And there also, there are also all those things we can say, assuming the sciences are all validated, and science has to be proven, okay, then we say that is anumanam, and that's a means of knowledge.
True. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Vishnu.
Shri Guru Namaha. Sir, actually, you have discussed the 6 qualities of Bhagavaan, and so my doubt is that this Krishna Paramatma is referred to as Paramatma sometimes, Bhagavan sometimes, or if I am going to a Krishna temple, Krishna Devalaya, Deivam, it is he is referred to. Sometimes Krishna's Anugraham is called as Deivanugraham. So why are there different terms, and each and every one seem to have a different meaning? Is it on purpose, and why is that? This was the basic doubt I was having. That is question number 1. And question number 2 was regarding the inference. Can I classify the whole rational thinking as based on inference only, direct perceptive inference only? These were the 2 questions.
Yeah. So second question first. So rational thinking means using pratyaksham and anumanam properly. Properly means what? I should not make up my own laws. So if I start making up, and I can't be considered rational. And so if you are using data point as they are, and we make inferences based on some prior knowledge of certain facts, it's all rational thinking. So in newspaper and on the web, we read a lot of articles, articles that analyze what's going on. So politics, hey, what's going on in India? What will happen in 2019? So a lot of noise is there, a lot of things going on in all over the states, and all kinds of parties doing all kinds of things. We need somebody who can make sense out of all this. So sometimes you get some good articles, good commentary, which analyzes all this and say, this BJP is that, Congress is that, etc. This is what can happen. Then it really illumines you. And because my eyes are not capable of seeing all these things, but based on the facts, based on data, and based on some inferences, an explanation is put forward, and I can buy that. I can say, yeah, that sounds reasonable. So yeah, rational thinking means using, not violating pratyaksham, not violating anumanam. The first question you asked was different names for Bhagavan. Yeah, so even every person has different names. Mother is called so many different names at home. Amma, Ma, mother, and called by names also. So many names one person has. So that's the glory of a human being, is person can have many names, and depending on the role they play, names will change. And so like that, Ishvara also different roles, different functions. So our devatas are all having so many different names. So Krishna also, Giridhari. Giridhari is the name. Giridhar, you say. Somebody's name is Giridhar. Giridhar means what? Goes back to the story where Krishna lifted a mountain with his little finger. So that glory comes out, that story comes out with this one word. And you can worship Krishna as Govardhan, Giridhari, etc. And Madhusudana, Kesha. So all this we can say. Keshava, Madhava, all these are there. So different names, of course, because the glory is so much Vishnu. The glory of Ishvara, the glory of the human being itself is there. So much is there. But glory of Ishvara is so much that he or she cannot have but so many names. And yeah, each name has a meaning. No doubt about that. Like Bhaga, we can define Paramatma also what it is. Deva has a meaning. Effulgent. The most effulgent is called Deva. So like that, all these have very beautiful meanings and applies. They can be used synonymously also. They can be used specifically also in certain occasions. Yeah, Haraprasad.
Sarvebhyo Namaha. Jayakumar, I had two questions to you. One is, you said Bhagavaan, Viryavan, like that. Is Hanuman has anything to do with that, any meaning?
Yes. So
And I'll ask you the second question after you answer.
yeah, so Hanu, I think Hanu in Sanskrit means chin. Chin or I think maybe I think the chin is what is highlighted. Hanuman's has a very pronounced chin. So one who has that pronounced chin, one who is known for their chin is called Hanuman. Same derivation. Hanumat becomes Hanuman, Hanumati. A female who has that will be called Hanumati. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. The second thing is, you said in the Bhagavan, the 6 qualities, Bhaga, the major 6 qualities. But is 6 anywhere connotated in the word Bhagavan?
No, not connotated not explicitly mentioned, obviously. So the word Bhaga has been given this meaning. I think that comes in Vishnu Purana. So again, this must be the game Vyasa is playing. So Vyasa gives the meaning of the word Bhaga because Vishnu Purana, right? So somewhere I read, I think it's Vishnu Purana. So you can validate that. And so there, Vyasa Maharshi himself says it. So that's where it comes from. Okay. So if there are no other questions, we will stop here with a prayer. Swasti prajabhyah paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha gobhrahmanebhyah shubhamastu nityam lokas samastas sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyah prithvi sasyashalini deshoyam kshobarahitah brahmanas santu nirbhayaah om sarve bhavantu sukhinah सर्वे संतु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतंगमय ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
धन्यवादः।